Good afternoon, folks. Today's discussion B is about fears of aging. Okay, so we're discussing that for B. So please join me in the presentation I made for you. Here we go. Men and women tend to share many of the same aging fears, but they often experience them different. Intensities most revolve around health, independence, finances, and social connection. Below is a clear, evidence-based breakdown of the 10 most common fears drawn from recent reporting and research, along with how they show up differently for men and women. Okay, number one, guys. Everybody's number one is losing independence. Okay, both men and women fear losing the ability to drive, manage daily tasks, or make their own decisions. This is one of the most universal aging worries. Two, declining health, chronic illness, mobility loss, dementia, stroke, cancer, and pain are major concerns. Women often report stronger emotional responses to anticipated health decline. 3. Loneliness and shrinking social circles. As friends and family move away or pass on, many fear isolation. Loneliness is a major health risk for older adults. 4. Financial insecurity. This includes fears of outliving savings, rising medical costs, debt. Women report this fear more intensely because they typically live longer and retire with less savings. 5. High medical bills. Even with Medicare, older adults fear costs of services not covered. Long-term care, dental, hearing, vision, and prescriptions. This is the top financial fear for older adults, for adults 65 plus. 6. Serious illness or death of a loved one. This is the number one fear across all old age groups. More than 56% say it's their biggest worry. Becoming irrelevant. or losing life roles. People fear people fear no longer being needed as parents, workers, or community members. This can be especially strong for men who tie identity to productivity. 8. Changes in appearance. Concerns about wrinkles, weight changes, and looking old tend to affect women more strongly, influenced by cultural expectations. 9. Mortality and the unknown. Fear of death itself, pain, suffering, or uncertainty is common. Some fear the process, others fear what comes after. 10. Vulnerability to scams, fraud, or cognitive decline. Older adults worry about being taken advantage of or losing mental sharpness. Fear of dementia is especially strong. These are worries already in your mind. Most people, men and women, younger and older, carry at least some of these fears. In fact, 62% of people say aging is a significant source of anxiety, even in midlife. If you're exploring these questions, you're in good company. And for caregivers, educators, and community leaders like you, understanding these fears is essential for shaping supportive conversations, podcast segments, and handouts that resonate with families. In short answer, fear of aging is mainly driven by external anxiety about mortality, loss of control and identity, and social forces, ageism, and appearance norms that make decline feel shameful rather than natural. These forces interact biology, psychology, and culture combine to make aging feel threatening. Psychological roots, mortality, solace, the awareness that life is finite sits at the core. When people are reminded of death, they cling they cling harder to beliefs that giving life meaning and react uh, defensively to reminders of aging. This is one this is the this is the central claim of terror management theory, which explains why aging triggers strong, sometimes irrational fear. Loss of control and competence is another major driver. Worries about declining health, mobility, and cognitive ability threaten everyday autonomy and self efficiency. These threats feel especially acute because they affect basic daily functioning and identity. Social and identity factors. Ageism and the double standard of aging make aging a social threat as well as a personal one. Societies that prize youth send messages that older bodies and roles are less valuable. Women often feel this more intensely because appearance and youth are more tightly linked to social value. Stereotype embodiment means cultural stereotypes about aging become internalized and then shape expectations, health behaviors, and emotional responses. So, fear is partly learned from the culture around us. How these forces combine in everyday worry. External dead, external dread, death meaning amplifies anxieties about health and loss of role. Practical threats. Money, medical costs, caregiving translate abstract fear into concrete planning stress. Social stigma turns normal decline into shame, increasing isolation and avoidance. What helps reduce fear? What helps reduce the fear of aging? Reframing, reframe meaning, and general general activity, building projects, mentoring, or creative work that extends your sense of purpose, reduces mortality, anxiety, reduce age boundaries, intergenerational contact, and cultural shifts that normalize aging, lower stereotype embodiment and fear. Practical planning, financial planning, advanced care directives, and health maintenance convert vague dread into manageable steps. Challenge cultural messages, limiting exposure to youth observed media, and practicing self compassion weakens the double standards impact. Quick guide to act now. Name the fear, mortality, mortality, loss of control, stigma. Pick one practical step: doctor checkup, budget review, or a social activity. Add one meaning project: volunteer, teach, create. Okay, guys, that's your B for today. So I will see everybody later for C. For now, Gator Wellness, take care, folks.